Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bluebird and Bee Tarot. I am Melanie. I am so happy that you are here today. We are going to be taking a look at the question, does your person still love you? Now, this might be a person that you haven't been in contact with for a long time, so that might be why you're wondering. This could even be a person that you are still in contact with, even still in a relationship, though. And for whatever reason, it's just really difficult to get to the bottom of that question by talking to them. There could be any number of reasons why you can't broach that subject. So you know what? We are going to broach that subject today. We are going to get to the bottom of it. Does your person still love you? So we have 3 piles to choose from today. And the card that I was drawn to when I was flipping through all the decks today was the 4 of Wands. So what I took from that right away is that in all 3 of these piles, there's going to be a theme of, yes, feelings are great, but do they love you enough to take action on those feelings? Do they love you enough to step forward, to commit? And I think that's an interesting and useful thing to find out, because finding out about their feelings is great and that's interesting, but what we really want to know is, are they going to step up, right? Are we going to be in union? Is this going to happen? So we'll find out where the energies are leaning. So the first pile we have, pile 1, is Tarot of the Cosmic Seed. This is the 4 of Wands in the deck, the Tarot of the Cosmic Seed. Okay, then we have the Modern Love Tarot by Ethany. This is the 4 of Wands in the Modern Love Tarot. Okay, and then we have the Superlunaris Tarot, and this is the 4 of Wands in the Superlunaris Tarot. Alrighty, so I'm going to give some time. In fact, here, let me turn those cards over and set them like offset a little bit so you can see the back of the decks and the 4 of Wands card at the same time. So I'm going to give you a moment here on the video to make your choice. The links are in the description below. You can definitely be drawn to more than one pile. That's perfectly okay. There might be messages for you in more than one pile. And if you need longer than I provide here on the video to make your choice, then definitely pause the video and just go to the description when you are ready to meet me at your pile. The timestamps are in the description. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the Tarot of the Cosmic Seed, then you have arrived at your reading. So let's get into it. Let's take a look. Spirit, tap me into the energy of pile 1's person, please. Tap me into the energy of pile 1's person, how they feel for pile 1. Do they still love pile 1? Here we go. Tap me into the energy of pile 1's person, please. Okay, so this is, yeah, I feel like they are actually trying to work up to a way to be more real with you, pile 1. I mean, there are definite feelings here. they're hidden. This person is intentionally hiding them because we've got unmask. Embrace yourself in your entirety, speak your truth, allow your authentic self to shine through because you are worthy. Yeah. And so I think we are definitely seeing the reason why they are hiding those feelings. They need to feel worthy enough to take off that mask. It's very difficult. Even if you have super solid self-esteem, it's still very difficult to put yourself into a situation where you are extremely exposed and vulnerable. But if you don't have the kind of self-esteem that would allow you to rebuild from a rejection, then it can feel like the deadliest risk to be vulnerable with a person that you hold in such incredibly high esteem. So they have been working to build up their self-worth. I think what is happening now is I do think that this is probably a pile that has a higher percentage of people in it who either haven't spoken with their person in a long time or they have very, very awkward communication with their person. And everything feels stilted and distant. And so what I feel like this person is waiting for is the perfect moment. It's never going to arrive, obviously, but I do think that there could be a moment on the horizon where it does feel like a key turned in a lock, where there is a moment where all of their courage builds up together and they sort of crest that peak. It might not be the perfect moment. The 3D may not align for the perfect opportunity, but inside of them, it's going to feel like the right moment. And I do think that I feel like they have built up enough, had a hiccup. Okay, so that could be a metaphor that Spirit is sending me, that this path is not going to be without obstacles, without hiccups. But I do feel like they have built enough of a foundation of self-esteem and enough courage that they will speak up at some point. And then with structure, building a strong foundation, I think that is actually why it's imperative that the ball is in their court. Because I feel like pile one, you've done a lot of the emotional heavy lifting up until this point. I feel like you have done a lot of the groundwork, laying the groundwork, giving them very easy opportunities to speak if they see fit. Yeah, I think that it would really be impossible for you to take them by the hand and lead them to water any more obviously and definitively than you have done. Like, you can't shove their head down and make them drink. You literally cannot do that. They actually, in order for this relationship going forward to have a solid foundation that is built on two people who have brought equal energies to it. It's not, neither side is forcing it. Both people have skin in the game. The ball needs to be in their court now. So I recognize that waiting is the hardest thing. Waiting is the hardest thing. It makes you want to crawl out of your skin sometimes. But I will say that as they have been on this path of building up a strong self-image and building up courage, you can also take this time to build up a sense of peace, a sense of surrender to the 5D. Like, there are also things that you can be working on during this time. It doesn't have to be wasted time, and it also doesn't have to be just pins and needles. You can actually put this time to use. Tell me more, Spirit. Tell me more. Yeah, I love the fact that we got the Messenger of Cups, like specifically in this deck. They don't call them pages, they call them messengers. So to me, that's a very auspicious sign that as they are unmasking, it came out right on top of this unmask oracle card. So as they are unmasking, communicating with you, sending you a message is foremost on their mind. That's too many, Spirit. Yeah, with the High Priestess, I feel like Spirit is calling you to use this time to get more spiritually connected. You know, and many times when we have these really highly spiritually driven connections, that's really the core purpose of it. Like, we, of course, in our humanness, think the core purpose of it is, you know, being in union, you know, us sharing a kiss as the music swells and the credits play. Like, that's what it feels like in our hearts should be the purpose. But in truth, the purpose is spiritual growth, spiritual ascension. Yeah, and the ironic thing is, or I don't actually know if it's ironic, me over here, Alanis Morissette all over the place, but what we are chasing is the high of union. And so it, for a lot of people, myself included, there's a lot of resistance to being told that what you actually need to focus on is spirituality, because you're like, but union though, but union. But the thing is, by pursuing spiritual growth, that is actually how we draw in union. Yeah, this is interesting. So we've got the High Priestess and we've got the Magician. That's two very intensely spiritual cards. That's two cards that very strongly speak to a connection to the 5D. And in fact, on this Magician card, we've got the finger that is pointing down and the finger that's pointing up. Yeah, and so it really speaks to, where is your attention? Is it on the earth below or is it on the celestial above? You know, it's like that phrase says, as above, so below. There's a Bible verse that speaks to that as well. As it is in heaven, so like let it be done here on earth. I feel like that's not how the verse goes. I feel like I'm quoting a song. I feel like I've twisted the words of the verse a little bit to fit the way that it is in a very popular praise and worship song that I heard a lot growing up. But it's the same sentiment. So yeah, I feel like that is part of the challenge that you face here, is focusing your attention on this finger that is pointing up. And then when you are focusing your attention on the divine will turn the wheel for the 3D circumstances. You can't actually change the 3D circumstances by focusing on the 3D circumstances, oddly enough. That feels counterintuitive, but it's actually true. But if you think about it, it's kind of like how, you know, when you have strep throat, if you were just going by the feeling in your body, you'd be like, let me get something to spray in my throat. Let me get something to, you know, drink that makes my throat feel better. But no, what you have to do is take antibiotics, because you've got to solve the systemic problem. And then when your system is well, then your throat will feel better. You can't solve it by focusing on the pain point. You have to solve the underlying issue, and then that fixes everything else. And I feel like that's not a bad metaphor for what's going on here. You've got to focus on the spiritual aspect of this, and then the 3D aspect will naturally fall into place. I do feel like, so with this Nine of Swords, I think that there is some real pain going on here. So I want to acknowledge that, and I want to acknowledge that I'm definitely not approaching this in a glib way, because, I mean, trust me, I have felt this pain. I have felt the pain of being in these kind of spiritual connections and just wanting them to resolve in a beautiful way so badly, and just feeling so much pain because that's not happening. I get that. I have walked that path. And I know that it's hard to hear people say, but you can't focus on, the romantic union. You have to focus on the spiritual aspect. So I want to point out that I'm not saying this in a glib way. I will say though, with this spider here, I do feel like there is a like a theme here, or an underlying kind of side message that Spirit is saying, focusing on the pain, focusing on the Nine of Swords, like this tossing and turning, not able to sleep, just the despair aspect, the pain, that is like a spider's web that you will get tangled in. And the more you struggle to get free, the tighter you will be trapped. And so, yeah, I would absolutely, well, kind of like with this Page of Cups card, I would focus on joy and curiosity and kind of cultivate an attitude intentionally of waking up each day saying, okay, what beautiful thing can the universe bring me today? Not even having an expectation of what it might be. Just set an intention at the beginning of every day that the universe is going to deliver something that day that will delight you. And then see how things start to turn around. And I think that the universe will start to delight you, but your own spirit will start to delight you by drawing in beautiful happenings and beautiful energy to yourself. And yeah, I think that's the first step to raising your vibration. But let's actually see what Spirit has to say, because I want to get some pieces of advice from Spirit about how you can draw in this communication. Okay, start over. Yeah, start from scratch. Try to wipe the slate clean as far as your emotions and your, just all of the story of the past of how this person has not chosen you, how this person has hurt you or ignored you. As if you are focusing on that, you will draw in more of that. That's the law of attraction and the law of assumption in a nutshell right there. So yeah, wipe the slate clean. Tell yourself the story that you desire. That doesn't even necessarily have to be about this person. The story that you desire is that you are a goddess, that you are chosen, that anyone in their right mind would love the chance to be with you. Just keep feeding yourself this story over and over until it will start to reflect in the 3D. Oh. Pinch pennies. Now that's interesting. That could be very solid 3D advice. For instance, there could be a point on the horizon where this person says, contacts you out of the blue and says, come visit me, or let's meet at this place. And that you would miss out on a beautiful opportunity if you didn't have some money set aside to put into doing an activity or going on a trip or something like that. Okay, and ask questions. Yeah, and I think that is also good advice. Be inquisitive. Yeah, just, and in fact, the Page of Cups card, part of the kind of meaning or, nuance of that card is to approach life with an air of inquisitiveness, an air of curiosity. So I feel like that really ties in there. Because I do feel like, as we all do, with this connection, you have drawn a lot of conclusions. You've read into some of their behavior or communications or lack thereof over the years. You've created a story in your mind, and it's a hurtful story in many ways. And so I think rather than continuing to operate on your conclusions, I think ask questions. And in fact, there's even a whole technique for manifestation where you don't try to convince yourself of your preferred reality. You just ask yourself, what if that could be the case? What if so-and-so does still love me? What if I'm on so-and-so's mind all the time? What would that feel like? How would that be? And you encounter less resistance because you're not even trying to convince yourself that it's true. You're just leaving the possibility open. Alrighty, let's get letters, numbers, and charms. Okay, so we have A, U, B. Oh, there could be a religious component of this because that religious song came into my mind and a Bible verse came into my mind, and the AUB is like a sort of well-known fundamentalist religious sect. Okay, N, W, G, B, N, and Q. Oh, okay, we got two N's. So anytime two letters come out the same, I look at that as being matched pair energy. So yeah, that, and actually there were other energies within the reading that showed that this is likely a spiritually driven connection. Yeah, WGB. Oh, and there's two B's as well. Okay. Love it. WGB makes me think of a radio station. So maybe they're going to contact you in a way, like they're going to send you a playlist on Spotify or something, or maybe they're going to call, like, you know, tying in the idea of talk radio. Yeah, something to do with sound, something to do with, or their voice, something like that. Okay, so we've got 3, 1, 6, and 6. So again, matched pair energy. So also January, March, and June could potentially be significant months. Or the 3rd, 6th, 13th, 16th, or 31st of a month. Okay, zodiac signs. We've got Taurus, Capricorn, ooh, earth energy. Love to see it. And Virgo, rounded out the earth signs. And Cancer, water. So 6 is Cancer. I'm a June Cancer. And water signs and earth signs, famously good pairing. That's beautiful. Oh, we've got the teapot here. So there might be something that would make the two of you, that would make them giving you a love confession somewhat scandalous in a way. Like maybe, you know, this person used to be your boss or vice versa. Maybe one of you used to date the other one's ex or something like that. Because, yeah, there's some hot tea. So something a little scandalous. This butterfly, to me, really fits in with the idea of unmask. It's about becoming your true self, revealing your true self. Okay, and then we've got the horse. So the horse is forward movement, galloping forward. So yeah, there is, as soon as this person gets set in their mind which direction they want to go, and they get the courage to do it, they're going to take off at a gallop. It's going to seem like years and years potentially of like slow or no movement, but when it takes off, it's really going to take off. And with the heart with the peace sign in between coming out connected to the key, yeah, they are going to find out that being their true authentic self and really revealing their true authentic internal feelings, their self, their true self, peace comes with that, inner peace, inner freedom. And so finally here we have the dragon. And there's a couple things here. So with the lore of dragons, dragons are actually generally pretty chill creatures until their treasure is threatened, until someone's trying to steal their treasure. So that tells me a few things. First of all, perhaps this person, you've never seen the more fierce side of them. You've only seen the laid back side of them. Also, this person does consider you their treasure though. But it also tells me that the thing that may finally spur them to action, like the thing that may finally provide them with, this opportunity that came out in the Oracle card line, is that they see you having the potential of committing to someone else or giving your heart to someone else. And that is what will finally make them stand up and roar their truth. Alrighty, so that is what I have for you. I hope that it resonated in a way that brought you some clarity, some insight, some food for thought. And I am going to leave you with this, that you are awesome, that you are worthy of love, and you are enough. Okay, bye. Hello, Pile 2. If you chose the Modern Love Tarot, you have arrived at your reading. So let's dive into it. Spirit, tap me into the energy of Pile 2's person. We want to know if Pile 2's person still loves them. Wow, and I actually just felt like a huge wave of longing. I actually have tears in my eyes right now. Oh, I don't know if I'm feeling your energy, Pile 2, or your person's. Wow, but it's very intense. I'm actually having a bit of a hard time breathing right now. Okay. Oh, interesting. So, yeah, we got family and we got kindred right next to each other. That is certainly not a mistake. That is a synchronicity. Yeah, absolutely. So, we've got ego death. As my ego dies, my soul awakens to step forward. So, I feel like there is a backstory here, first of all, Pile 2. Holy crap. Yeah. Because as I read those words, my brain started getting bombarded with so many downloads, but also just an overarching feeling of like, yup, like Pile 2. There are some of you in this pile that have been praying for this ego death on your person's part for years. Like your love, the flame of your love has continued to burn because where it says my soul awakens to step forward, like you have been able to sense that that sleeping soul that has been inside them all this time. You have seen below all these layers of arrogance and defensiveness and even betrayal. I hate to say, I'm so sorry if that's the case for you, pile 2, for the individual you within the collective of pile 2. Because you certainly don't deserve this. And in fact, this may have been so egregious and such a long-standing pattern that at times you have even asked yourself, why do my feelings survive? Why do my feelings persist? And I feel like in the past you have had similar situations with other people where they have done things that were significantly less hurtful than this person has done. And the first time they did it, you didn't even have to try to force yourself to leave them or break up or otherwise disentangle. It kind of killed your feelings because you were like, well, I did not recognize that you were the kind of person who could do XYZ, but now it has been made clear to me and my feelings for you are ixnayed. But with this person, it's like it's not like you tolerate the behavior. I'm not saying you quote unquote let them get away with it. I don't think you do. I think that you, in as many cases as humanly possible, you set boundaries and or separate yourself from them. I wouldn't go so far as to say that you quote unquote tolerate this behavior, but you're in your heart, your love survives. And that's not something that you really have control over. And I think it honestly surprises even you and shocks even you. And I don't think that you are able to even explain it. But on a spiritual level, I feel like it is likely because you are soul family. Yeah, you are family, you are kindred, tribe, ancestry, chosen family. Yes, you are soul family. You are spiritually connected. You've incarnated so many times together before. And so your soul has been able to sense this person's dormant, authentic soul behind all the layers of BS, basically, that they have been pulling on you. And that is why those feelings survive. So if you have ever, been self-recriminatory about those feelings and thought that it made you weak or that it was your fault or anything like that, seriously, if you can, lose that, drop that. This is not your fault. This is not the result of anything wrong with you. And in fact, I think that you have set at great, personal emotional cost. I think that you actually have set some very healthy and clear boundaries with this person at various times in your relationship. But yeah, I think that the love never dies. And this is the reason. So the good news on that front is that the same way that your love, can never really be snuffed out. It always, smolders and then flickers back to life. The same is true for them because this is a spiritual connection. You are part of the same soul family. The bad news is the timeline on which they finally surrender to this ego death and allow their true authentic soul to step forward is going to be different for every person listening to this. And that can be a very frustrating thing to be waiting for. So yeah, this is an incredibly emotionally taxing situation, pile 2. And my heart really goes out to you because it's genuinely not easy. And I recognize that. Okay, Spirit, tell me more, please. Yeah, this is a damaged person, I gotta say. This is a damaged person. Yeah, temperance. I mean, I was just talking about the timing surrounding when they are going to experience or surrender to, submit to this ego death. And Spirit, the very first tarot card that comes out and the card that comes out right on top of ego death is Spirit going, yeah, you might be waiting a while for that. Like, it might be a bit. The nice thing about Temperance, though, is it doesn't just mean patience. It doesn't just mean waiting. It also means peace. It also means a healing balm. So those are energies that Spirit will send to you. If you open up your spirit and open up your heart and ask the universe to send you comfort, to send you a healing balm, to send you peace. Like, it's not going to be immediate, and it's not going to be like you live in an alternate reality where that pain just doesn't exist anymore. But there are ways to find peace, even in the pain. Yeah, wow, that family and kindred coming out next to each other, that's pretty wild. That's just Spirit showing off. That's pretty cool. Yeah, yes, this is difficult. At least Spirit is acknowledging that it's difficult, though, because one of the things, I feel like we've all been here at a certain point in our lives. We've all been at the place where it's just sad. It's just painful. Just loving someone who's hurtful to us. It's so sad. And one of the things about that can actually be the most sad, honestly, is that it just feels very isolating. You feel like no one really feels what you feel. It's hard to feel a kinship. It's hard to feel like you have kindred spirits walking this path. But Spirit and your spirit team see what you're going through. You are seen. You are acknowledged. And also, even though I know it can feel like nobody's ever hurt the way you hurt, because that's just human nature when we're in a lot of pain, the truth is this is actually so much more common of a situation than you would ever imagine. Like, this is actually a very, I don't want to say central, but it's a main pillar of the human experience, I would say. Yeah, rejection, sadness, despair, pain over broken relationships, that is a very, very universal human experience. So you're really not alone. You're not alone, pile 2. Yeah, the King of Pentacles. So this is interesting because, yeah, what this person needs to do is become a person that you can depend on. And I feel like there have been these flashes over the time that you have known this person, that they have really been someone that you could lean on, someone that provided emotional support or actual support, someone who has been just really, really a pillar of strength in your life. But those are fleeting moments. And then I think they go back to being either flaky or hot and cold. And it's like it hurts even more. And I do think that there is an element of when there have been those significant moments of vulnerability on their part, that they step forward and say, I'm going to be here for you. I'm going to be this strength for you, that feels really intimate to them and that feels really vulnerable to them. And so I think perhaps they even pull back more after that. Yeah, this is such a frustrating cycle. Oh, pile two. I so sympathize with this, and I have been there. It's a frustrating cycle. And I think this is a hamster wheel. And this hamster wheel is going to continue until they can jump off, until they can submit to this ego death. The ego death was the first card that came out. It's the linchpin of the entire reading. It's the hub, and every single other energy is a spoke. Everything hinges on them submitting to that ego death. Okay, so next I want to get some advice from Spirit on energies you can be in to draw in that moment where they do submit to that ego death. What can you do? What energies can you put out in the 5D that will draw this into you? Okay, get inspired. Okay, so yeah, pursue your passions, spend time in nature. Yeah, maybe pursue your creative endeavors, just anything to get into that high vibrational inspired space. Seek truth. So that's another thing is, yeah, I do think that, yeah, kind of cultivating an attitude where you're not holding them to an expectation. I think that energetically they would start to sense that shift where it's like you just want to meet them where they are. You really honestly do. You're not expecting them to come in with a grand gesture. You're not expecting them to come in and be strong for you. You want the truth of them, the entirety of them as they actually are. Just really cultivating that idea within yourself. It will affect the spiritual energy of the connection between the two of you, and they will sense the shift. They will just sense intuitively that they are safe with you. And then keep going. And I feel like that, yeah, that's kind of just like, don't give up. Don't allow this connection to entirely define your energy or your life or even your day. Just pursue things that make you feel incredibly high vibrational. And then this connection will unfold as it's meant to. Alrighty, let's get some letters, numbers, and charms. Okay, so we've got D, P. Okay, so DP on a movie set is director of photography. So maybe you are into photography. Maybe you have, like an Instagram or something where you post just like gorgeous pictures that you take, or interesting pictures that you take. Or maybe you just really like beautiful aesthetics and maybe it's time to start pursuing something to do with that. So we've got M, L, X, V, and W. So XL makes me think of extra large, which tells me like, yeah, this is a supersized love. This isn't small. This isn't medium. This isn't even large. It's extra large, baby. Okay, 2 may be a significant number because I did notice that this ego death card is numbered number 2, and then that's also one of the number charms that we got. So we've got 2, 6, 1, 3. Oh, this makes me think that, and then we've got 7. So 1, 2, 3, that makes me think of something going smoothly or something going easily, like ABC, easy as 1, 2, 3, simple as do, re, mi. ABC, darling, you and me. Yeah. So that also makes me think, the do, re, mi part makes me think that possibly there's a musical connection here. Maybe you're a singer. Maybe they're a singer. But also this could be the significance of the month January, February, and March, June, and July. And then also the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 6th, or 7th of a month, or 12, 13, 16, 17, 21, 23, 26, and 27th of a month could also be significant. Okay, so we've got, what is this, Taurus? There's a little glare on it. Scorpio. And Cancer. Again, the combo of earth and water. That is so funny. That also showed up really strongly in pile 1. Okay, so you're their compass, pile 2. Yeah, they do think of you. Moral compass. I just heard the phrase moral compass. Yeah, they recognize that you are more spiritually evolved than they are. You are ahead of them on that path. Yeah, and I do think that they think about, what would pile 2 do in certain situations where they have to make a right and wrong decision? Okay, with this angel praying for you, I feel like, I think that they check on you, pile 2, in ways that you're not aware of. Maybe asking mutual friends, checking in on your social media every once in a while. Yes, to see what you're up to. Yes, to just kind of, get the lay of the land. But I think they want to make sure you're okay, pile 2. There is a lot of affection here from this person. They really have a special place in their heart for you. Absolutely. And then with this butterfly, to me, that indicates that there is a point on the horizon where they are going to go through a transformation. They are going to submit to that ego death. That is where the energies are leaning. That's what the energies are supporting. Again, hopefully they will surrender to that, because this does feel like a lovely connection. This does feel like something divine and fated, but ultimately it is up to their free will. Yeah, with the feather, so I feel like that is, again, it's another indication that for you, the best thing okay, come on, Melanie. I've got so many downloads coming in at the same time. It's hard to talk at this while I'm processing them in my brain. That's a very ADHD thing. But so yeah, I think the best thing that you can do is really cultivate carefree, playful, high vibrational energy. They will be drawn to that. Okay, this frog brings up a couple of things, but I think the main one is the idea of leapfrogging over steps. I think that they have a tendency to try to take the easy way, to try to, skip steps, to try to skip doing the hard stuff and skip right to the happiness. And they've got to really surrender to the idea that success comes from the hard stuff. With this dinosaur charm, this could be a very old and well-established relationship, or there could be an age differential between the two of you. And then finally, with these ballet slippers, that actually, I feel like, speaks to a very graceful way that you comport yourself, pile 2. I think that you have a manner about you that is, yeah, it's very like smooth and peaceful and elegant. And yeah, it's temperance. It is absolutely this first tarot card of temperance. I feel like that is what these ballet shoes are talking about. And that is why you are their compass, because they really look at you as kind of having all the answers. And obviously you don't, none of us do, but they look at you as being very innately graceful and just really intuitively knowing the right thing in many situations. And I think that is, they love that in equal parts as it intimidates them. Alrighty, so that is what I have for you, pile 2. I hope that it resonated in a way that brought you some clarity, some insight, some food for thought. And I am going to leave you with this, that you are awesome, that you are worthy of love, and you are enough. Okay, bye. Hello, pile 3. So if you chose the Super Lunaris Tarot, then you have arrived at your reading. So let's dive into it. Spirit, tell me about pile 3's person. Tell me about pile 3's person's feelings for pile 3. Do they still love them? What? Okay, so this is wild because so we got transformation and transformation. We got dueling, like matching set of transformation, dueling transformation, but they're flanking deception, which is, so this is complicated. So first of all, I feel like this person is in a state of fooling themselves, fooling you. Maybe they've lied to you even with deception. So I don't know if this is willful deception, as in they have intentionally lied to you about things, or whether this is, sort of subconscious deception that they're lying to themselves about the strength of their feelings or the power of the shadow work that they have to do as a result of past trauma, or so they're lying to you or lying to themselves. And they're either doing it intentionally or unintentionally, but either way, any of those scenarios, the main thing is there are lies happening, and that's not a healthy situation. So if you have separated yourself from this person, I think that's probably a really healthy decision, because this strikes me as a toxic situation. And they may have even created a situation where you were then lying to yourself about how it wasn't that bad, or you could see the reasons why they did XYZ. And that's certainly not something that you should be, well, not only that it's not something you should be doing, but it's not something that they should be putting you in a position to be doing. An environment of direct communication and healthy transparency is what you deserve, pile 3. And with deception coming out centrally, that's not what this was. However, on the brighter side of the coin, we did get 2 instances of transformation. So this card says, transformation. Accept and embrace the shedding of old skin as you continue to evolve and awaken. And then transformation, who are you becoming? So yeah, with this one, there is the imagery of the snakes, shedding your old skin like a snake. You've outgrown that old skin. It's no longer serving you. So you're shedding it. That old self is a dead husk. You are moving forward as someone new. But then this next card asks the question, but who is that new person? Like, is it, what's that phrase that they say in corporate life? Like, new boss, same as the old boss, or something like that. That it's basically like there's a new person in the position, but it's, you know, you can kind of slot any human being in there and it's going to be the exact same experience. And so, yeah, have they actually transformed and grown into a whole new person? Or is it just, you know, new SP, same as the old SP kind of a thing? Yeah, the snake imagery makes me think that if they are in the habit of intentionally deceiving, of intentionally lying, that's not an easy habit to break. It's not always malicious. A lot of times it's self-protective, but nevertheless, it's unacceptable. You deserve better than that. And yeah, it's really hard to trust someone again once you have been in a situation with them where they just basically lied anytime they opened their mouth, where it wasn't just one lie, not that that's okay, but it was an environment of lies. It was the air that you were breathing in. It was the status quo. Man, pile 3, wouldn't it be easier if we could just choose who we loved? Man, wouldn't life be easier? So yeah, like I said, Spirit is acknowledging the toxicity of the situation that has existed in the past between the two of you. Spirit is also strongly acknowledging the potential for change in this person. But there's some skepticism about what they are changing into. Oh, that's too many cards, Spirit. Yeah, the moon, there's some uncertainty. There's some hidden motivations. The path ahead is very poorly lit and shrouded in shadow. Okay, so interesting that we have gotten 2 of the major 3 celestial energies. You know, sun, moon, and star. Those are the 3 major celestial energies. We've gotten moon and star. We've gotten the 2 major celestial energies whose domain is night. Yeah, so with deception being a strong energy in the oracles, and then the 2 celestial energies coming out, talking of night, like under the cover of darkness, secrets shrouded in shadow. So in answer to the main question of the reading, I do feel like this person still loves you. I've been hesitant to say it that bluntly because I feel like you are hanging on. I feel like the energy that I'm picking up from a lot of people in the collective of pile 3 is like this very aching longing that I could feel you like on the edge of your seat being like, please just say they still love me though. Please just say they still love me. And I get it. But I hesitated to say it because them still loving you that does not mean that they are ready to step up and treat you right. I mean, I feel like they are awestruck by you, and I feel like in their heart of hearts, they want to commit to you. But they are a shell of themselves right now. They're not ready. They're dealing with some serious... I mean, yeah, it probably is the result of past trauma, as most shitty things we do are, honestly. But they have really taken it in a direction where their self-sabotaging is sort of a tornado that destroys a lot of other people's lives in its wake. And I do think they love you to the best of their current ability. But does that mean that if you got into a serious commitment of them, that they wouldn't leave you as the walking wounded as well? No, that does not mean that. They probably would, and it wouldn't be for lack of loving you. I feel like that you have justified a lot of poor treatment from this person under the guise of, but they love me. And I mean, truthfully, pile 3, not to be dramatic, but people in romantic relationships have killed their partner while they genuinely loved their partner. Like, love is unfortunately it's no guarantee of being treated right. And again, I don't want to come down too hard on this person. I feel like they are likely reacting to being treated very, very poorly in a way that they did not deserve in the past. But they have not dealt with enough of their own trauma to get into a relationship with you and not hurt you. I mean, not destroy you. So I would hold off on this, honestly. I would take comfort in the idea that they do still definitely love you. But I would, if they approach you, if they make an offer, I would be very, very careful about moving forward with it, pile 3. I'm not trying to be a bummer. I promise you I'm not trying to be a bummer. But they have a lot of work to do before they can be healthy for you, pile 3. And you deserve more than being lied to and hurt and potentially destroyed. You really do. Yeah, let's get some advice from Spirit. I want to see what Spirit has to say. What are some actions you can take or some energies you can be in to move forward and draw in the absolute most amazing life for yourself? Whether that consists of a healed version of this person or that consists of something else that's going to bring you bliss and joy. Whatever that is, all I know is you deserve bliss and joy. So let's see what Spirit has to say about how you can draw that into you. Dream big, yes. Yes, dream big. Don't limit yourself as to what you think you can achieve or what you think you deserve. If you can dream it, you deserve it, pile 3. And show off. Yes, don't be afraid to be the star. I think that one of the early emotional traps with this person was that they made it so clear early on how spectacular they thought you were. And I think it was one of the only times that you felt really spectacular is viewing yourself through their eyes when they were looking at you that way. And I think it gave you a high that you've been chasing ever since. And I get that. We've all been there. But create your own, create a scenario where you feel that feeling of being that spectacular, because that's what you see when you look through your own eyes, that you don't need this person's gaze or this person's judgment of you as a spectacular individual, because You know you're spectacular. Everybody knows you're spectacular. Take notes. Okay, I feel like that is about scripting. Yeah, write down what you want, make lists about what you want your life to be like. And again, like a lot of times the universe can surprise us. And as we are getting into this super high vibrational energy and scripting out the life that we want for ourselves and watching the universe bring it to be, a lot of times, you know what we find out? That our spirit, our high vibrations, our energy has also been drawing this other person to do their own work, and a completely different and evolved version of them shows back up in our lives when we are strong enough to handle them. And that could very well happen in this scenario, but the only way that that's going to happen is you focus on your own dreams and your own, your own just, what's the word I'm looking for? Your own, like showing off, but not showing off as in like, Stuart, look what I can do, but showing off as in, just, being transparent about how amazing you are. Just really letting people see the true you. Shining. Yes, shining. Dreaming big and shining and scripting out what you want your life to be. Wow, I don't know why that concept was so hard for my brain to pull up the word shining. Okay, V, victory. G, Y, P, V. So two V's. So every time two letters come out the same, I do look at that as matched pair energy. Also, PV makes me think of POV, like your point of view. Like the situation is different depending on what angle you're looking at it from. ESP. Yeah, so that's when you can read other people's thoughts, but I take that as just a reference to sending that energy out into the universe. Then M and J. Okay, so, and we've got two matching numbers as well. So we've got 4, 4, 8. Oh, that's a nice little number sequence. Then we've got 5. So, yeah, so also this could be April, August. Oh, it's August right now. And May could be significant months. Also the 4th of a month, the 8th of a month, or the 5th of a month. Okay, so we've got Capricorn, all kinds of earth signs coming out in all the piles today. We've got Aquarius. Oh, we got the star and we got Aquarius. Come on now. Libra and Leo. Ooh, a lot of luck charms came out. Yeah, so communication very well could be incoming. This is a letter and the note in it says, I love you. So yeah, I would really, really work on being strong. And if you don't feel, intuitively, if you don't feel just, all kinds of flashing green lights, I would encourage you to be strong and hold out for a time that this person makes an offer when they are in an evolved space. Okay, with this Christmas tree, Christmas could be a significant time between the two of you. Yeah, with this key, they've got inner doors that they need to unlock. They've got things that have been locked away for a really long time. What? We got the starfish. This is now the third reference to the star that has come out. I will say when I'm doing fertility readings, the star is actually my strongest symbol of the parent-child relationship. And so just for a few reasons, there's a few symbolic reasons that support that. But this could also be someone that you even have kids with, or that was at one point part of the plan, or that there is something about parents and children that is influencing this connection in some way. Yeah, with this fish, I mean, that's very much watery symbolism. And so there is feelings here still. So yes, they definitely still love you. That's just not the end of the equation. Yeah, look at this. So with the key, first of all, that's another instance of matched pair. So that's kind of interesting that all of this matched pair energy is coming out. That's very telling, but it also really emphasizes the idea that they've got some internal work to do. They've got some locked trunks of shadow work that they haven't even looked at yet. Okay, we've got the globe. So distance or geographic distance or travel might have something to do with this. Yeah, and with the anchor, so that's the idea of putting down roots. And we also got the Four of Wands. So the idea of, marriage, commitment, that may be a point of contention or something that is influencing the two of you. Okay, we've got the yin yang symbol. So again, that's the idea of balance. That is matched pair. We've got, wow, another key. So actually with 3 keys coming out here, that could be third party energy. Yeah, I didn't get a strong sense that that's a current influencing, sorry about that, excuse me, that's a current influencing factor, but it could be, basically, yeah, one of the first oracle cards we got was deception. That could be something that you are having a hard time trusting them about, is whether or not there is a third party. And that could be, that mistrust could be very well placed, honestly. Yeah, with this ornate heart, yeah, it really just shows this person is so incredibly special to you. Like the love that you feel for them is not just like any other love. It's special. It's more special than other loves that you have felt. And finally, with this bee, bees are the energy of working collaboratively, of being able to attain a sweet reward when you work together. So this person, again, not only has to love you, but has to be willing to buckle down and do the work with you. That's the key. That's the linchpin. It's not about loving you. This person loves you. There is no question. But loving you is not going to be enough. They have to do the work. Alrighty, so that is what I have for you, pile 3. I hope that it resonated in a way that brought you some clarity, some insight, some food for thought. And I will leave you with this, that you are awesome, that you are worthy of love, and you are enough.